My advice to a young filmmaker is to make a movie every week.
Okay.
Make films, no matter what anybody says, and you'll be a filmmaker.
Recently, I've been wanting to branch out with film concepts and give myself a challenge to start working more and start creating more. So I decided to challenge myself by doing a bi-weekly series in which I write, score, shoot, edit, and release a short film every 2 weekends. To accompany each video, I will be releasing breakdowns like this to get real nerdy with it, to go in depth on the shots, to show you what I've done and how I've done it, and why I've done it. For example, in this setup, I'm using my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K Pro with a 35mm focal length lens. I am in my studio room with the natural light coming in behind me to light up the back wall. I added a Godox 60-watt daylight tune light fixture above me with a 36-inch softbox and the grid for a key light. I placed a small tungsten lamp on my other side as the fill light. And behind me I have the GVM 1x1 LED light tuned to 5600 as a kicker on the back of my hair. So without further ado, let's kick this thing off and let's get into the analysis of my first short film. Now I'm gonna kind of just pour through this premiere session, play things back a little bit, remind myself what I did, and kind of analyze it a little bit. This is sort of our opening establishment here. I kind of regret not doing like a formal couple of establishment shots. I think that could have been effective here. Give the vibe, because you look later on and it's a really pretty little corner of the house here in that coffee setup. I would have liked to give it a little more serene, quiet vibes, but I think the choice I made here was just to tell you as the audience, your story starts here. Right when I click that button, that's go. That's go for my day, and that's go for this little short film. Just get a little close up here of the portafilter. Grab portafilter, show it kind of corny-esque to the camera. I think the angle here wasn't great. I didn't really challenge myself with the angles here at the beginning. It's all very from the front, but pull it out, show the puck, and out of frame. I kind of like to go in the next frame in the same way when I'm going close-up to close-up, and I kind of like that. So out of frame on the left, back in frame on the left, close-up, trash can, dunk. It's kind of a funny little sound for me. I don't know, I'm a bit childish, but for me, I enjoy that. Just little dunk. It's a defeated, I forgot the puck. I set the focus of this shot at that point, pretty much right where you see the portafilter at the end. Placed the portafilter there, focused it on there because I was shooting f1.8 here. So it's really unforgiving with the focus, especially that close-up. Made sure I hit my mark there, and boom. This shot is me coming back to the machine, wiping off the portafilter with paper towel. This part I actually recorded separately, audio for the paper towel, just because I wanted to get really clean audio of that. This is like my first wide shot. Come into frame, wipe off, wipe, and to the grinder with it. I switched here to off-speed frame rate. I wanted to give a little bit of a dreaminess to things, so I switched to 48 frames here, over the top and then way down low, getting a little tighter and more dramatic. So I liked the off-speed thing here. The only issue I ended up having with it was the sound. I had never shot off-speed part of this series. I want to learn all the tools. I want to learn how to use them. I want to challenge myself, so shot off-speed. I had to reline the sound in post, and basically what I did is I gave the full audio duration of the grinder here and I wanted it to end when that ended. So I just cut around that. I cut off this shot and started this shot just so it would end at the right time. I do a cut here on the portafilter hitting. So cut to this scale. I kind of liked the sound-based cuts. I knew filming this was going to be like a super fully heavy a mix. I cut down to the scale over top. There's a bunch of square shaped stuff in this coffee setup. And in the social media cut, you'll see it's a little tighter on there. I just like to frame things nicely in little squares. And this is where I realized the second big mistake I've made. I've forgotten to tear the scale. So it's another big coffee no-no, and it means the shot is kaput. Once again, having to hit my mark with a tight focus, but I cut it right on the impact, and I could sit here and tell you that that's the artistic choice for me to cut to black on the impact because it's dramatic, and I do like that, but I only had to cut to black because in this shot, I don't actually have a puck. There's no puck or grounds in the portafilter, so nothing comes out. So I cut to black here, and while it's black, you kind of hear the paper towel sound a little bit of me, once again, cleaning out the portafilter. And it's the same sound from earlier, so I've basically just put in the whole duration of sound. Give another wide shot here, starting to get some of the highlights of the curtain here in focus. So shooting in B-RAW, I was able to keep the ISO nice and high, lower the middle gray point, give more of the dynamic range to the highlights there, because that was what was important to me. I switched over to the second ISO band for a minute there. It just clipped everything in the highlights. Ended up staying high on the first band, leaving the crossing of the window there, because I really liked that look, and I didn't want to take that away. So I've kind of made this shot a little dark because of that. So this is me tearing the scale, atoning for my sins, and then I'll just speed through these next two shots here, but it's two close shots. I cut right to grind, grind, tap, tap. That's me doing the same sequence of shots. I add the little tippy tap thing because it gave me the nice little audio cue to cut away. I cut through them quicker just so I can kind of tell you, like, I'm getting annoyed. Like, it's not a beautiful action anymore. It's, you know, I'm getting back through it so I can get on with my life. I drop on the scale, not quite enough. Grab it. So this is a longer shot here. Got the espresso machine as a nice little square, an open square with the grinder under it. It's probably my favorite shot of the film just because of how like tight the focus is and how kind of dramatic it looks, and kind of get the nice like dreamy backlight from the window. Weigh it, click, success, boom, 18. Just getting a little closer. I get quite a few of these close-ups of the scale numbers. And I think thinking back, like I probably could have been a little more creative with some of these, but I think there's like a certain drama to the numbering. I think another thing I might have done here, which would have been cool, would be like some cheesy little zooms to make it all seem dramatic, like zoom right on the 18. I don't really like keyframe zooms, so I would have had to push in live, but I tried to put the portafilter here at an angle so that it covers the number in shadow, because as you can see on the other part, it's like super contrasted by that sunlight coming in. A little sequence of 3, a 1, 2, 3, out, tamp. I just cut right to me doing it. I did it pretty slowly, so tamp and then out. Fumble with putting it back. I always fumble it. So I just cut hard to the machine going, but I didn't want to cut off the momentum. So I do a little mini adjustment, just trying to leave little breadcrumbs that I'm I'm not taking myself too seriously as like a latte maker. I'm just some guy making a latte, and I don't want people to think otherwise. So over the shoulder shot of me reacting, because I kind of just sit there and stare at the machine the whole time. Get a close up of the dial here, cut back to the cup, back to me, turning around. This sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots, was just 2 takes that I clipped up, partially out of necessity. So I'll take this, if I reset, that's the original shot. And as you can see, my wonderful SM57 has unfortunately fallen right into frame here. And I did not notice that. You can see it throughout the shot, just starts sagging down. It's so unfortunate. Basically, I clipped the shot into 2 segments because of that. You have the dial tight and then the cup tight, just to get the mic out of frame. So that's part of the benefit of shooting in 6K RAW. I just punch it in, no problem. Flip to a longer shot. I wanted to give a shot some like actual depth. I wanted to cut up the like square, flat vibe. Swung the door open here. So this shot, I wanted the oat milk to swing into frame, into focus, be kind of angelic. I think if I were to do this fridge opening part again, I really would have added some light. I would add some just corny, just heavenly fridge light. And this is the first time I switched to the 16 to 35 lens. I'm taking the oat milk and I'm taking the maple syrup out of the fridge here. I want them to look huge. I want it to look a little goofy. Went 16 and just got right up close. Just wanted some like fish-eyeing and blurred perspective there. So this is me trying to do Edgar Wright stuff here. Just comedically grab things out of frame. Of course, me being me, I just giggled at the idea of accidentally grabbing Worcestershire sauce, put it back, grab maple syrup. And I don't want to get me walking back. I think we get the point. I'm walking back. Start to pour syrup, pour milk. This shot ends up pretty long because of how long it takes me to pour the milk. But I just loved the way that the highlights look on the cup after it comes away. And so I just left that shot there in its fullest because I just wanted that again. So audio-based cut, direct on ice falling into jar. Kind of jarring, so to speak. Was it on purpose? I don't know. The highlights are really pouring in through the window. It just starts this spotlight of sunlight that's just beaming in, and just everything was just looking so dreamy and nice. And this overhead shot of me pouring, that's the 16 again. Just kind of giving a little variety here. And if I had pre-planned this a little better, chose my focal lengths ahead of time, I would have probably been peppering this in a little more deliberately. Specifically when I'm repeating the grinder stuff, that would have been pretty cool if I had taken those 2 tight grinder shots and switched to 16 there just to give it a little goofy feel. This is complete dumb luck, but I really like the shadows of the teapot here in the latte. I just thought that was so cool. So pouring it into the cup, cut halfway through, cut some time out there of just me finishing the pour. 3-step shot here. Place cup, place straw, grab it with hand. Wanted that to be a distinct rhythm of 1, 2, 3. Over to her. This is another 16 millimeter shot, just a goofy shot of her. And this is where it all culminates. So corny ending. Little So that was the shot-by-shot reviewing of the cuts. Now on to the film scoring. All right, y'all, here is a quick analysis of what I did audio-wise for the short film. This will include Foley and scoring. So the Foley aspect was pretty straightforward. I recorded everything on site. I just brought everything into Pro Tools. And I did some pretty egregious limiting on them with the Vertigo VSC2 from Brainworks. 8-to-1 ratio, quick attack, slow release, just be very aggressive with transients to get everything lifted up so we have nice and punchy sound effects. Everything I recorded was with an SM57 on a short mic stand and put it as close to the source as possible, slightly out of frame. So that one was pretty straightforward. But when it came to the music, my tactic was to bring everything here into Pro Tools and play along with the cut. So I had the cut completely finished when I started putting the music in because I didn't want to cut to the beat, so to speak. I wanted the cut to have its own sort of rhythm and then have some moments where I'm catering the music to the actual video, which I hear is a good thing. Share your opinions on that if you like in the comments. I had this piece pre-canned. It's a guitar piece, just a simple A and B section going on. I played it through once along with the video, just at whatever speed felt comfortable, no click track, and just saw how everything lined up. And I found, as I played through, this tempo kind of felt right in the moment. And the one moment that I wanted specifically catered to a beat was the beginning of the B section. So we have our A section. So that's our A section, just a pretty straightforward, repetitive, vibey melody. It's the opening of the video, and then the B section is this sort of mischievous, more spooky sounding part. I called it the bridge. So what I found is that the accented beat of the bridge lined up almost perfectly with a specific moment, and it's this moment. Yeah, so it's the moment when I am ditching the improperly teared grounds. So I wanted that to line up perfectly. So what I did is I actually set the tempo of the song to 67, which is down about 4 clicks from my first take, just so it would land right on the bridge. From then on, I got to the very end here, and I took the click track out and let myself come in for a soft landing with the end of the film. So I'll just play that out for you too. So I did write and record and mix this. If you have any other questions about the recording process for this, please put them in the comments. So this concludes the musical and sound effect breakdown of the film. So in the end, I cut 3 different versions of this film. I cut one in 16:9 aspect ratio, which is the one I went in depth on. I also took that and put it in 1:1 square aspect ratio. Same cut, just had to reframe a couple of shots. And then lastly, I did what I called the social media cut, where I did a 1-minute cut, also in square aspect ratio, and tightened all of the shots and made them quicker and cut faster. So I did the social media cut mostly for engagement reasons and also challenging myself to make a shorter cut of something that I've already cut into a 2-minute film, taking out about half the shots and then cutting it down to just over a minute. And I wanted to see the challenge of that, see if I could shave off shots that weren't necessary, take some of the filler out and make the cut a little tighter. And I think in this case that really helped me, and I in a lot of ways prefer that social media cut. So let me know what you think in the comments. comparing the social media cut to the full-length 16:9 cut. I've got it up as a reel now, so you can watch both and check them both out. I just wanted to close to give a quick thank you for making it this far in the video. I know it's gonna end up being a long one. I'm editing it right now and it's already over 10 minutes, probably gonna be about 20 minutes long, so thanks for sticking around and watching. And just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that I'm not trying to do this as a teaching. I'm not trying to show that this is the right way to do things or look at me, look at what I've done. It's more of a self-reflection of what I have done, challenging myself to create more and then be introspective on it. So feel free to comment any advice you might have for me, people that have been doing this longer, anything you might have noticed. I will be doing this bi-weekly, so trying to really improve as I go along. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in a week.